Hey, welcome to another episode of Becoming a Techno Wizard. All right, finally finished everything. Officially, well, not officially, but basically done with my course. It's been 9 months, 9 grueling months, 9 very educational and insightful months. And I feel like I've definitely come a long way. And today I'm going to talk about my portfolio. All right, last video was in a dark spot, but I finished it, stayed up all night for like 3 days, and got it done. And I, I feel decent about where it's at. You know, I don't feel like it's great. Definitely not. Far from it, but it's decent. Okay, so it's a lot I want to work on, and I'm going to redo the whole thing on either Webflow or just go ahead and bite the bullet and code it myself because there's a lot I want to do with it. I simply do not I understand why people enjoy those clean, minimalistic things, right? But that's just not me. You know, I can learn from their use of space and typography and hierarchy and all that stuff, but it's just not me. So, anyways, I'm going to show you my portfolio and then tell you what we got in store for the rest of this week and really the rest of time with my videos. So here we go. Without further ado, I share my screen and boom, de bam, bing, bang. All right. So here it is. I didn't buy my domain because, like I said, I'm gonna redo the whole thing on a different platform because Wix is so. I'm so tired of Wix. It was cool. I appreciate that I was able to develop something like this, something so weird and you know um, unconventional on this site because of their simple drag and drop editor. But the fact that they have so many technical glitches is just unacceptable. So yeah, I gotta move on. But anyways, here we go. So I got my homepage. I got everything working, right? Looks pretty good. I got my hover. See, look at that. It's still, but anyways, yeah, I got this little simple hover effect, so you can see some visuals. When you click on that, it goes to the case study. All right, and then over here, it just tells them a little bit about the type of designer I am, stuff I want to do. TechnoWizard, my resume. I know it's a little messed up here. That's just again limitations of Wix. Very loud, sorry. And my contacts. So yeah, I like this design. The reason why I appreciate it more than what I had before is because number one, um, I mean, this is not a first of all, this is not a big right, big like change from what I had before. It's very on the nose, very similar to what I had before. But number one, I moved the hello and welcome thing. So I removed that. I wanted to have that unique typography because it showed my whimsical side, right? But yeah, I was like, yeah, it's taken away from the message. So yeah, I just simplified it all in one area. So it reduces the complexity, makes it a little bit more simple, easy to look at. About me, you can tell that's a button. You can, and then when you try to go click it, tell more information. Now, if you click it, like actually click it, it will take you to my about page. But before I go there, yeah, I think it is good. Now, before, if you remember, I put my the case studies were going the other way, so they're going up. But I realized this way, it guides the eye a little bit more. That's what design is all about. Kind of showing you where your eye should go, like what you should be doing on this website. So I like that it kind of guides your eye towards the resume, there's a contact information, very hierarchical, or however you say that. But at the same time, I do recognize that there's a lot of problems with this. I wanted to explore this because it allows me to kind of fake 3D, like makes it seem like this is coming out of the water and all this stuff. And on Webflow, if I do pursue this design, I know exactly how to make this like a parallax effect. It won't be big like those parallax effects that make people dizzy. I understand how that is not good, but I figured out in Webflow how to make a simple 3D effect. So it just barely moves. And I cut out different sections of this picture, this background picture, like the pillars, the planet, the sky, the tree, and the water. So I can make those like I can stack them on top of each other and move it just a little bit, so it'll look 3D when you move your mouse around. So I know how to do that in the webflow. Now, if I'm not sure if I'll still pursue this idea, because simply for the fact that the biggest problem with this website, this homepage, is that it doesn't guide the eye enough, right? There's a lot of problems with it. Number one, it's not responsive. I made a mobile version, but it is super simple. Like, I'll show you the mobile version real quick. Oh shoot, wrong button. But yeah, some other problems is that um, yeah, it's not responsive. The cards can be better kind of laid out, and like this right here, the fact that you have like about me on one side and hello and welcome on the other is it's just not, doesn't work very well. I think it's because the hierarchy is not great. Um, Ideally, for good hierarchy, you would have, one thing at the top, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, right? One at a time. So it's telling you what to look at, what to do. But the fact that I have both of them next to each other kind of makes you question, makes you think a little bit about what I should do next, and that's not what you want to do. Anyways, here is the responsive design. So as you see on tablet, it doesn't work very well. Hopefully, it still pans. I'm not sure if it pans. It won't let me do it here. I don't have a tablet anywhere near me, so so I can't test it. Oh wait, it does pan. Huh. Okay. It doesn't pan the other way, just this way. Weird. Again, I think that's a limitation of Wix, unfortunately. Sorry, you're not supposed to see that. I don't know why. Okay. So yeah, the actual phone one. Refresh. So yeah, as you can see, it's much simplified, right? Um, there we go. Unfortunately, is not as readable because it's, how the text gets delayed, and I can't add. Oh my gosh, what? I don't know if I could hear that, but it's like some really, really loud frogs or something. Oh. Sorry, but yeah, I don't know. This is a limitation of Wix, so I can't add a background here. I would have to add it in the desktop mode, which would kind of make it even more confusing, right? To have another background effect. Anyways, the mobile is pretty decent. It's very simple, nothing extraordinary, and yeah. So let me go back. Oh shoot, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry, y'all. There we go. Okay. I'm completely sandbagging here with my ideas on how to use inspector mode. It usually switches back. There we go. Okay. Weird. Okay. So yeah. So that is my homepage. However, I do recognize there's a lot of problems here. All right. So I created another homepage that is much simpler. Go back to normal, and boom, you have a beautiful, minimalistic, simple homepage. So it just has, my thing here, my resume still, and I use Vectory 3D to make that little 3D effect here. And then my case studies. Boom, bam, beam. So super simple. Um, got my. I really like this. I found this on Wix as well. This bar, this navigation bar thing that's really cool. But yeah. So I think this is really cool, right? And then when you hit TechnoWizard in training, boom, it tells you what it is. That goes to my YouTube. My resume, that pops up a PDF. Bing bang. Now, one piece of feedback I heard on that is I might want to offer the ability to see a traditional resume, ATS friendly one, so you can put it in those applicant tracking systems that usually like they can't really process these 2-column resumes. Um, so I make another one for that, and then allow people to download, to choose which one they want to download. But yeah, so I think this one's really good, but I'm sticking with my first one because number one, this is just a practice site, and number two, I like taking those risks. I think that's a I can afford to take I can't well, yeah, I can afford to take those risks because either way, my website is not great anyways. If somebody's gonna cancel me for my homepage, they're gonna cancel me for my case study layouts anyways, and we'll get to that in a second. So it doesn't really matter to me. But I put this here just to show people that I do understand a little bit about web design. I can make a little simple if I need to. All right. But yeah, we'll go to the about side. So you go to my about me section, and boom, very simple. Just tells a little story. You can read that if you want. But yeah, I like this. It's pretty simple. Have my socials down here. Got the nice little projector effect. My contact. If you hit the contact, there we go. Tells you my socials and my email. Now, some people like to put your phone number in there, but I do not because number one, I don't often answer my phone. I get a lot of spam calls. Like I rarely ever talk on the phone. Rarely. So the only time that I get phone calls is from spam, right? Unless it's like if it's somebody I know, they're already in my caller ID. Like I almost never talk to somebody who I haven't met before. So I don't really feel like it's necessary or smart to put my phone number because I'm like, should I answer that? Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's that. Now we can get into the case studies. So this is my worst one. I already know Quell is a not is a like the design of Quell is very chaotic. Or as my friend likes to say, jarring. Shout out to Carrie. So this is, it tells you a little explanation of Quell, what it is. I know some people don't like the pop-ups. Like one of the feedback from the same person said they don't like the pop-ups there, but I wanted a way to tell about what the organization was, as soon as you're coming in there, so you can get that framing, get that context for what you're about to see. I could put it at the top here, but I already had a lot going on, so I figured, I don't want to add to it. But yeah, so this is the only place I use the slideshows. So instead of using slideshows everywhere, I just used it here in the overview, so you can get some information about the team and all that other stuff. I like this little 3D effect here. I know this is not great, but it is what it is. I mean, I could put it at the bottom, like I did for the other one, so I might do that. This is not great, right? But unfortunately, what I found out is that, again, with the limitations of Wix, you can't like have a progress bar like I wanted to do that would show like as you go. You can only have one type of navigation, right? You can't make another navigation and put it like at the bottom or on the side or something like that. Like this is the only other type of navigation you can naturally have on Wix. So I had to work with that, but it's decent. I put a background here because all the colors that we're using were not super readable with the background because I changed backgrounds a lot. This is not great either. Like I can barely read it right here, but it is what it is. Again, this is just practice, basically. But yeah, goes into my project brief. I think this is decent. Nice little explanation here. And then goes into the problem. I think this is decent. I do want to learn how to be more succinct. As you all know, with these videos, I like to talk, which is weird because I'm an introverted person. And if you know me, you wouldn't think I would like to talk this much. But I guess, I don't know if it's monologuing or if it's when I'm talking about things I'm really interested in, I could go on and on and on. But if it's not something I'm interested in, I'm just not going to talk. So if you know me in real life, you probably haven't heard me talk a whole lot unless I'm talking about something that I'm super passionate in or interested in. anyways, yeah, in my process, I like this whole thing. Like, this is cool. Put my pictures here. Now, these are not stock images. These are actually images from the client. Um, so yeah, he took pretty good images. Maybe he got stock images. I'm not sure, but this is like the resource that the client gave us. Um, and my research methodology. And this is where things get really chaotic, right? So I wanted to show like the design principles and that little rainbow effect I had on Notion and on Google Docs, but it just got some problems here. So I know I'm gonna have to reconsider how this works. Maybe put it in something like this and color the words, or maybe just abandon the whole idea. I don't know. I have to play around with it, but yeah. But it is striking, right? Unfortunately, it might be drawing, but it is striking. It catches your attention. So if you're just scrolling through, you'd be like, oh, it's gonna catch your attention. That's the whole point of the site. Like, it's a lot of things that's going on. It makes you stop and see what I'm talking about. Hopefully. So yeah, at the storyboard, you can tap it and it expands there. And then this part, I wanted to have those cool page effects type of thing. So this is why this kind of broke my page a little bit. Like, this is why it does this, because this is not like a div or anything. There's no divs on Wix. There's containers, which is what this is, which usually acts as a div, and then there is like shapes. Unfortunately, you can't like shape a container, right? You can't make this look any different. Like, you can do very loose things, but nothing like this. So that's why I use the shape, like an actual, you can think of it as a primitive shape, right? Polygon texture or shape or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I expanded it out to a full page, and unfortunately, like, I can't get it perfect. Like, if I do a little bit less than a page, then you have this border outline, and you don't have it on this side. Maybe I might just I'm about to change this whole thing. There's no point in perfecting it. But anyways, yeah, got the discoveries, got this little call out part, and it goes into my sitemap, my first sitemap, which I made pretty quickly. And then, so this is why I know there's a lot of problems here. I know this can be done better, but I don't really quite know how. Um, like, I have this container here, and then a picture here with one type of design, and a call out with another type of design, and then like, these paragraphs are all different like sizes. So I know that's problematic. Different layouts. This is right aligned. This is center aligned. Um, this is center. This is right. If I right aligned this though, it didn't look as good. So I don't know. I felt like because it was in a box, I can mess around with it. But I just realized it's off center anyways. So I don't know why that is. Um, yeah, I like the idea of the effect, but it just didn't quite work out. And then going to the next part. So this part, I wanted to do those, like the nice little diagonal type of thing, right? Um, but again, had to use like shapes to do it, and it turned out kind of strange. Um, so yeah, I had to work on this a lot. And then every single time, like this, like it's supposed to say solutions here, the solutions, but it keeps going under the primitive. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I put it on top, it just keeps going down. Like, doesn't make sense. Um, so yeah, so my first version, and I like it because it shows my failure. And I explain here that I know this looks bad, but in my case study, I talk about why. Like, I did this like a lot going on here because the customers were asking for a lot of things, and I thought it would be useful to give them all those things. So, oh yeah, let me show this real quick. So throughout, you may have seen these links here, these little underlines, right? It's under each major section, basically, saying, hey, you can read more about this part of my project. And when you do, it opens up my Notion. This won't show, of course, if this was somebody else's. It would just be the center page. But yeah, it opens up my Notion, and then boom, you can see more details. And I really go into details. I basically put all their objectives, the questions we asked, the methodology we used, stuff like that. So people can really dig deep into what I did, um, stuff like that. So that way you can get a better idea of what work I actually did as a UX designer. Because that's the problem with portfolios is that a lot of times everybody tells them make it short, make it visual oriented, um, very aesthetically pleasing because people don't read. So just make it short and picturesque. But the problem with that is that it doesn't really tell you anything about actual user experience design, right? It tells you some things about visual design, but I don't want to be a visual designer. I know I'm not that good, not yet, right? Um, so I wanted to give people an option to read more information, and some other case study I've seen that did that, have similar effects where you have a read more option. For those people, it's to respect the people who actually care. So if a hiring manager is reading my portfolio and they actually care about user research and user experience design methodology and the strategy and technique and all that stuff, then they can read more information about that and they can actually learn some information. But I'm not gonna like put it out in the open because I know people don't read. So if you do read, then you'll see that. If you don't read, then you won't care. But yeah, I had just a lot of, oh my gosh, this is really bad. But hey, I got it up there. Minimal words and all that. And this is my actual design. So as I stated, well, I talked about this in a lot of other videos. So check out those videos. So yeah, you can see the difference though. Definitely simplify the whole thing. So yeah, I just try to tell a story throughout my portfolio, and you got your outcome section. These are real quotes from our users. These are not these are real users, but not their pictures, just because I wanted to respect their privacy. So, and we don't have pictures of them. uh, but it's good representations. And yeah, so that's my Quell case study. The weakest, well, it's probably the strongest case study, but it has the worst visuals. So I'm really going to have to fix this on my when I redo this. I don't know how. I really don't, because there's a lot of things I want to do here. There's a lot of words here. Like this is the biggest problem with this case study is that it was very much about the research, right? Um, so I need to find a way to tell my story to have all these details in a way that is still visually appealing. So I got to figure out how to do that because a lot of case studies I've seen, even the ones that go into depth about user research or whatever, they're not visually appealing. So what do I do? People are just scanning. I want to make sure it's visually appealing as well. Right now, this is striking, and again, like my friend said, it's jarring. But that's unfortunately a bad thing. I have to make it pleasing. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and get to the next case studies. So we got Dewey. This is the shortest one. Come on, Wix. There we go. Okay, thank you very much. All right. So in Dewey, oh wait, what in the world? Is that a broken link or something? I have to fix that. I don't know why, but again, my URLs, even my URLs are not good. Like it says copy of. That's because for each page, like I duplicated it. Like whenever I wanted to change something, instead of deleting the whole thing or changing, I always like to keep my history, my old stuff. So I would just duplicate it and then work on a new one, and then yeah, go from there. But I can't even tell what page it's going to. Yeah, there we go. All right, I don't know why I did that the first time. So yeah, here's Dewey. Again, I have the slideshow, tells more details, little 3D effect here. And yes, you can pop that out. Okay, so now you can see it's a little bit cleaner, right? Goes right into the problem space into a nice little partition. My friend said it's not good to have this background here of the picture, so unfortunate. I think it's still readable. I wonder if it's really uh, glaring or something. I don't know. I have to test that more with other people. User research insights. Um, Now in the Wix template, or the component that this was supposed to be like images. So it's like a blue overlay, and then you have an image in the back. So it's kind of like this effect, but on the smaller scale. But I thought that was a little bit too much, so I wanted to keep it simple like that. And I don't even know what images to use. So, but I think it's a little bit more, because originally this was just bullet points. So I think it's a little bit more, you know, striking like this. Nice little emojis. Then goes into solutions. So as you can see, this one's way shorter. All right. Overview, problem space, user research, solution, outcomes. Boom, bam. But hey, this was like my second ever project at Flatiron. Yeah, this is my second project, the first group project we did. But I included this one because this was still a really good project. Like we did some work on this one. So, and I did all the principal prototyping. Like I prototyped this entire thing by myself, in like a matter of 2 days. So I feel okay about this. It's not great, but it tells you, I'm comfortable. I can learn, how to use these prototyping tools. Shows a little bit of my interaction design skills, even though I know I can get better at it. So yeah, very simple. A lot better than Quell. But a lot less going on here, so it's easy to make it simple. And it could still be some improvements. I know I can do better with hierarchy. I can do better with typography. I can do better with um, color schemes and stuff like that. And this part, I might need a little bit more love, but it is what it is. And now we get to the last one, ICME VR. So this one is there we go. The explanation about what the arcade is. This one is not. I was not an official designer, right, with this project. I call this a service design project, nevertheless, because, well, again, I talked about this a lot in other videos. You can just read those. But basically, for sure, if you haven't seen those, if you're watching this for some reason, it goes into the fact that um, service design is all about increasing the experience, improving the experience for employees as well as customers. So looking at the entire business process, operation, right, and seeing how you can uh, how you can use user experience in a in the operational standpoint. So you look at, and the reason why it's super important is because um, you have to run a good ship. Like if you run a good company, if you're like a well-oiled machine, your employees know what to do. They have good policy. They have good training. Your inventory is looking good. Your all these operational stuff. If all that is working well, then it's almost certain that your product is going to work really well too. So that's what we did here at ICMU VR. A quick aside. So I used a Futura font, Futura, however you say that, because I liked the V's and the W's. Simple as that. Like I wanted a futuristic font, and before I was using Lato for everything, which is a decent font, but I wanted to use like different things. Like I read that a serif font is better for readability, especially if you have a lot of words. And I do have a lot of words on mine. And then a sans serif is better for like titles and stuff like that. So I wanted to do that. I didn't want to keep it all serif because serif can come off as very official, very formal, right, very serious. And I wanted to use a type of serif that's not too serious. So I use a Libra, forgot what it's called, Baskerville. Yeah, Libra Baskerville. So it's a decent font, pretty cool little font. Um, has good, X height. I think that's what it's called. Good readability. Well, not great X height, but good readability. And the titles, I know people have this thing against Futura. I don't completely understand why, to be honest with you. I think it's because of something around the X height or because of other reusability factors. So my friend kept insisting I find a better font. So still in the search for that. But I did find this font, Jost. It's known as the modern day Futura, um, and this looks pretty good. And it has those sharp edges. I freaking love that. It looks so futuristic to me. Looks so uh, just avant-garde. And this one has great usability, right? So both the titles and the what do you call it? The paragraphs, right? The regular things. And they have, let me show you, they have like a million, all the freaking the weights, which is really dope. So I can use like one font. I might just switch everything to this font because this is really cool. I have to compare it to see how it compares to that serif font, but I think I really like this one. So I'm probably going to use this when I switch to my website over. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, back to it. Got your existing problems, and then auditing operations. I use that same format. This time I colored it because these are more positive, or at least I don't know. It's interesting. I drew the eye kind of matches these colors. I know it's not great color schemes, color stuff, but I'm still improving on it. And such as improvements. I have these pictures popping out of I actually designed this whole thing. I did this a few months after I started the US design program. Did this on Sketch. So I think it was cool to put that here. The fact that I designed this, and it really increased our usability. At the same, well, I didn't. Let me, and I say I say this in a thing. Oh, it doesn't. Huh. I had a pop out effect for this as well, but my description was honest. Is like we basically stole. Well, I stole this this design from one of our competitors. They had this on their website. I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. So I basically stole it and redid it for hours. But you gotta do what you gotta do for competition, and it actually was really better, a lot better than what we had before. But yeah, taking a lead. I know this is not super great readability, but it's decent. I'm gonna improve that. And then it's an interesting thing. It's not really a design per se, but it's kind of I included this in the service design because this was a huge pain point for our business. We were doing like project status lists for people to this is how we gave tasks. So you say, hey, I need you to do this, get this done, whatever, right? And so every time you did it, you would put it on here, and then you put in like the goal, who asked you to do it, notes and stuff like that, right? It has like little key of your time. But it was just chaotic, right? This is already in place by the time I joined the company, and it was really hard to keep up with everybody's things. So at the bottom of this sheet, you would see everybody's name in the company. It's like 10 of us. So we each had our own like sheet just like this. And so to see what other people were doing, we go to their sheet, see what what stuff they're in progress on, what they completed, so on and so forth. It was just not good. Most people didn't update it very regularly. Whenever you added another one, you would just add it to the bottom, and it was just like right? It was very chaotic. And so some people would have a lot. Like I had a lot. Some people had like 2 or 3 items. So it was very unbalanced as well. And we wanted to make sure that we were giving people enough time because giving people enough assignments because there was a lot of downtime in an arcade when you're not busy. So we wanted to make sure that people were doing, just being productive, being able to help the company as well as being able to help themselves, make sure that they're because we wanted people to come to the arcade as employees who and leave better, leave and with more skills. So we didn't just want them to sit there and wait till the next customer comes in. We want to be learning something, to be doing something while they were waiting. So I found this idea, the OKR thing. Now I never really heard about this before, so this is all research. I was just researching what's good performance evaluation, what's good task management system, blah 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 blah. And I came across OKR, came across this specific one, which is actually a free, simplified version of OKR that small companies can use. So for this one, you set out, for those who don't know what OKR is, it stands for Objective Key Results. And it's a better form of a performance evaluation sheets. It's a better form of task management because you set out in the first, for every quarter, you set out what your goal is, what your objective is as a company. You say, we want to, and this has to be measurable. So we want to accomplish this thing. We want to increase this thing by this amount. And once you do that, you can break it down into how you accomplish that. So you give yourself 3 to 5 key results to lead up to that objective. And then furthermore, you can split your objectives into a company objective and then a team objective, and then their personal objective. So in that way, it was very, very useful for us to make sure everybody's aligned on the company, make sure we're giving measurable tasks. You can't just say, hey, do this, because you don't really know what success is. Like we have that problem where we give them an assignment and we get it back and it's like, what is this? Just not enough communication there. So doing this, the fact that I implemented this definitely allowed us to be a lot more productive and allowed everybody to feel more involved and aligned in the company mission. So yeah, that's why I included that there. And then we go into our outcomes. So there were a lot of outcomes with this whole process, and this is a problem with Wix. Freaking thing here. There we go. So yeah. Oh yeah. I showed my video, or not my video, but a video that was shot a couple months after I started at the company. Just nice little
Wakes you up. I literally
testimonial.
jumped off a building. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever done.
But yeah, people, they freaking love this junk so much, and I wanted to show that. So yeah, I just talk about all my things, highlight the specific things I want you to look at, specific metrics. This is a cleaning sheet. So again, it's one of those operational things where before we were just like saying, oh, we need to clean and make sure we clean the bathrooms. We need to make sure this is clean, right? And it would just be like eyeballing it. So if it looks dirty, clean it, right? Which is cool and all, but it's not operationally like effective, efficient, because there's a lot of things you can miss in that format. Sometimes people don't want to clean, or they're busy with other things, or just you might miss things that are not obvious to look at. Like there are like a lot of dark spots in the arcade where you have to clean it because spider webs will end up there. Have spiders come out of nowhere. You have to clean these things because you don't want an incident where a customer comes in and they see a spider or something like that, right? You can't have that. So we would have to and especially bad because it kind of became almost tradition where the new employee would do most of the cleaning. So when I came in, I did most of the cleaning for like the first 30 days of my time there. I was like, man, we can't do this because, and it wasn't just me. Like after we hired, 2 other people, we was like, oh yeah, you do more of the cleaning now because I showed you my status list. I had a whole bunch of tasks to do, and other people they didn't have much to do, so they got stuck with the cleaning. And I was like, this is not a good culture, right? We can't have the new people just cleaning. So I made this, worked with the founder and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, we need to make sure everybody has. We don't want to force people to clean, but we want to recognize when people do clean, so that if we see that one person has been doing a lot of cleaning, we can talk about that. Like, hey, why is this person doing all the cleaning? Everybody needs to pitch in, so we can see what's going on there. We can see when things were clean and stuff like that. And because we work on a rotational basis, there shouldn't be a time when only one person's name is on here, right? If there is, we know something went wrong. We know that other person is not pulling their weight. So yeah, it was a good way of changing the operations, making our service better from the inside. And that's why I wanted to include that here as well. Got some more outcomes, documenting, troubleshooting, holistic services, and all whatnot, and then talk about the virtual environment. So I think this was pretty cool because I didn't get to build this out, unfortunately. I wanted to build one out. I had some ideas. I was like, hey, we should do this, that, and the other. I was like trying to prototype on Microsoft. They have like a 3D, very simple 3D modeling. Not even 3D modeling. It's Paint 3D. It's Paint, like Microsoft Paint, but in 3D. So I was designing a very simple version of that. But we finally got some people that were actually good with Unity. So yeah, they designed this. But however, I did give a lot of feedback. You know, whenever we had a new build, I tested it with customers, tested it myself, and I was like, all right, we need to do this, that, and the other. Need to, uh, include different interactions and all this. So yeah, I did a lot of. I had a lot of. My hands are in this a lot. So yeah, I wanted to show that, and that's it. That's my case study. I think overall it's pretty cool. This one is again pretty simple. Um, Again, I have to work on my layout. I have to work on my hierarchy, my use of white space, my use of typography, my use of colors. A lot to work on. But I do think there's a lot of good stuff here. There's a lot of good ingredients here, and I hope to portray that in my next iteration. So thank you for watching. In the next couple days, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to be finally doing those articles about what I learned about design working in VR. I want to do UI challenges. I want to do. Um, my friend suggested that I like go on Behance or something like that and just copy people's work, to get familiar with UI, right? To like he said, learn that taste. And that's important because like I said in the last video, I feel like I don't have that taste. I know I have, creativity, but I don't have artistry. So I need to attain that artistry somehow, some way. So I'm going to copy a bunch of people's stuff that I like on there, try to change it up, and apply UX to it. So a lot of problems that you have on Behance is that they're very visually appealing, but they're surface level, right? They don't. It's not really good design. It's not good UX design. It's good. It's all depending on that aesthetic bias. So I want to copy stuff, but change it in a way that shows, hey, this is what it might look like with better UX design. And in addition to all of that, I also want to do real world projects. So I'm going to start with my family because they've been begging me to help them create websites. I have not been at all confident in my ability to create websites for them. I still am not, but I'm more confident than I was before, or at least I'm, in a passable level, I think. So, got some cool things to work on that. My mom has like a event management. Well, she doesn't do events right now because of the pandemic, but she also does like crafts. Like she makes glasses and all these bejeweled stuff and stuff like that. So I want to create like a website where people can kind of order what they want, or even design what they want, and she makes it and ships it to them. So I want to create that. My girlfriend. We've been together 5 years. I don't want to call it my girlfriend. Like she about to be my fiance. You know what I'm saying? But my girl, my woman, my lover, my wifey. Um, she is a huge writer. So she has a ton of stories and stuff like that. So she wants to create a portfolio of her writing. So I want to create that. And she is a big proponent in simplistic minimalism, elegance. So it's really going to challenge my abilities there as a visual designer. But I think there's going to be a good challenge. It's going to show, once again, that I can do real world projects. And then I think my dad needs help with his site. He has an entertainment business. And then after that, I'll go see, other design challenges or other real world projects I can do. I have a ton of projects that I want to do for myself. So I might just start on that rather than asking other people, because I just have so many ideas. This is why I became a designer, because I wanted to produce these ideas. I want to make things happen. So now I feel like I'm much more capable of doing that. So yeah, I hope you liked what you saw. I understand if you didn't, but I will love your feedback on it, even if you've seen this late. If this is weeks later, months later, or years later, tell me what you think, because I will look at it, most likely, and any feedback you have on where I am now, speaking in 2020 and of August of 2020, you know, um, it still tells me where how far I've come. So if you see this years later, right, and you see my new designs at 2022, 2025, and you compare this to where it is now, you know, your feedback on this page right here will help me to see that I was on the right track. That I recognize what was wrong with my page and what was wrong with my style, and how I was able to improve. And so in 2025, I can be like, okay, so that means I'm on the right track. So in 2030, I'll be even better, right? So that's how I'm thinking about it. So it doesn't matter when you see this. Please let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to have conversations. As you see, I like to talk about things that I'm interested in, and I'm interested in this. If you need help with your site, with your portfolio, let me know as well. I would love to help you. Right now, I'm helping Carrie, my friend, with his. Um, Look at that. Look at this, man. His page is so freaking dope. Like this dude is so talented. He started only a few months before I did. But I and again I taught this in another video, but he um went to a UX design camp at Lambda, and I felt bad for that because I was the one that pushed him to get into UX design because I was like, man, you have such good art like design. Even before this, he's always an artistic person. um and I was like, man, you should think about being a designer. And I was like, maybe check out Lambda, like, because before Lambda, before all this, it blew up. Like the next big thing, I was like, man, I think you will really fit in this program. So he went there, and oh my gosh, it was like he's been telling me the horror stories there, and he's so, man, he's so amazing. If you're watching this, Carrie, you know, I love you, man. You're great. But he doesn't blame me for it. But there's a lot of stuff he missed at Lambda, right? They didn't. There's a lot of stuff they did not teach him. They did not like teach the UX design people, right? And that's unfortunate because he is so freaking talented. Like, look at this, man. This is stuff he created only a few months earlier than me. Like, look at this. And he still gets, like, he gets a ton of interviews right now, but he hasn't gotten hired. All right, people over here talking about some, this is not something I would download from the App Store. I'm like, what? First of all, this stuff is super, super polished for a junior designer. And second of all, I hate that people are trying to hire junior designers that are unicorn, like that are unicorn UI UX people. Like, it's just I don't want to go into a whole thing right with that right now, but like, look at this, man. And this is not even his best case study. His best case study is clout charts, which we worked on together. No, not we didn't work on it. Like I helped him refine his case study. He did the actual work, himself with his group and stuff like that. And the visuals he shows is like stuff he created. But yeah, this is his best case study right here. But yeah, this dude is so talented, and he hasn't been able to find a job yet, right? And man, I get so inspired and motivated by looking at his stuff, looking at his journey. So really sucks that he hasn't been able to get a job yet, with the amount of talent and skills that he has. But anyways, yeah. If you need help with your case study, I would love to help you. I did help Carrie with this one. Um, he had a pretty good case study before, but it didn't really go into the insights, right? And I was fortunate enough to have really great instructors at Flatiron where they focused on the fact that your case study should focus on, or really any presentations you make, any communications you make as a UX designer, so focus on the insights and your design decisions. You shouldn't focus on the process, because the process is just your tools, right? It's like a electrician or construction person. They're not focusing on the hammer they're using, right? They're not focusing on the nails they're using. They're focusing on what they're building, and why they're building it, and stuff like that. Same thing for a coder. You're not super focused. You're not going to tell people about what, I don't know, what algorithms you're using or something like that. I mean, to an extent you are, but this is why I'm not good. I'm not good at code. I don't know. I already know the code stuff right now. Put myself in the spot. But you get what I'm saying here. Like, you don't want to talk about your tools in that way when you're trying to present your designs and your stuff to other people. You want to focus on your insights. You want to focus on your research that you did and the strategy behind your design decisions. That will make your portfolio stand out, and that will show that it's not just surface level stuff. That will show that you didn't just learn, surface level stuff. It shows that you actually went to depth. As Debbie Levitt said, she has a great YouTube channel called CXUX. What is it? CX, no, UX. Sheesh. Put myself on the spot. Let me. Delta CX. Sheesh. Delta Customer Experience. Delta CX. So yeah, she has a YouTube channel and LinkedIn, page, all that stuff. But yeah, she talks about like design, and design is like three levels, right? There's the fundamentals. That's the base building block of the pyramid. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of Flatiron, I mean, not Flatiron, a lot of boot camps, a lot of college courses and stuff like that, they focus on just that, like just the building blocks. But you also have to go to the next level, the science and technique, as to how you do those things, how you know the fundamental principles gets applied, and then you go into the strategy, the top of the pyramid, which is basically about why you do things. What you're doing, when do you apply, this, when do you use this tool, why do you use that principle, this, that, and the other. So if you don't have all three of those, then you're not a good designer. You haven't learned enough to get a job as a designer. Um, I'm still working on that myself, and I think I've done a pretty somewhat good job of showing some of that on my portfolio. But I'm always improving on it. So by the time other people watch this, hopefully definitely I will be but much better. And I would love to help you with your portfolio, because yeah, a lot of people have these service level portfolios. They hear, oh, make the visuals, make sure it's very aesthetically pleasing, and that's all they do. Your portfolio gets you the interview, but your strategy, your skills, your depth of UX gets you the job. Or better, how they say it before, UI, visual design, gets you the interview, and UX gets you the job. So yeah, if you need help, let me know. I'd be happy to help. Anytime, anywhere, anyone. Let's get it. See ya. Bye-bye.